And now, without further ado, the next Secretary of the State of Connecticut, Gerry Garcia.
Buenos días a mi estado. Good day to my state. It is especially gratifying to receive the Connecticut Hispanic Democratic Caucus's endorsement, as it affirms our shared mission to give voice to those who have no seat at the table and to inspire the participation in our body politic of those who need to feel a greater stake in our process. Connecticut's Latino population numbers 12.5% of our state, 445,000 men, women, and children. There are 225,000 Latinos who are eligible to vote, yet only 4% of our Connecticut voters who cast ballots are Hispanic. Some point at Latinos and other disenfranchised communities and say, see, you don't show up to vote. I say, it's time we give not only Latinos, but people representing all disenfranchised communities a reason to vote. At base, our goal must be the empowerment of all of Connecticut's communities, and the most basic way we show our civic participation is by voting. While many are quick to point a finger and say that communities of color don't vote, we as a state need look no further than last November, when only 36.4% of all Connecticut registered voters cast their ballots. In some communities, voter turnout was high or higher than usual, but these towns were few and far between. Rather, what we see too often amongst our communities with the most to lose is an institutionalizing of the status quo by the often fewer than 20%, or in some cases by fewer than 10% of the population that is able to head out to vote on that first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. In November of 2008, Connecticut and this nation voted to grapple with the many difficult issues our nation and our state face in these modern times. We rejected the status quo, saying we needed a new kind of leadership that rewarded inclusion rather than loyalty, one in which results needed to be measured in lives positively impacted and not by slogans, one that does not reward mediocrity and cronyism, but rather values multiple, even conflicting views, and encourages cooperation, creativity, and consensus. These are not national issues alone. These are issues we share in common all across Connecticut. The time is now to begin to usher in a new era of our leadership in this state. We deserve leaders who are accountable to all Connecticut's people. Leadership that values all our voices, that inspires all to achieve, participate, and live full lives here in our state. Your endorsement is the beginning of the process of reforming our system from within, breaking down barriers to civic participation, modernizing our voting process, and giving a new stake to communities that too often feel none. We will be tested, and we cannot make history alone. This won't be given to us. We will have to work and organize and prove our strength. In order to improve our system, we must register all those who are eligible. We must ensure we come out to vote in a primary and in November. We must be counted. We must make our voices heard once and for all to claim our seat at the table. We as a Connecticut community must finally acknowledge that it's more than our ethnic minorities, but rather many different groups. Our small business owners, our mothers with children, our seniors, our sick, our commuters, our men and women in uniform, and many others who all share common obstacles and challenges to voting on Election Day. Other states have begun addressing these obstacles by any number of means, including enacting early voting and expanding hours polls are open. All Connecticut's people deserve a modern voting process that fits with living 21st century lives. I promise you today, if elected, I will lobby our legislators to enact changes to our election process that not only make voting easier for underrepresented communities, but for all Connecticut, from Andover to Woodstock, and every city and town in between. We all deserve equal, better access to having our voices heard in communities across Connecticut. Our democracy depends upon it. Thank you, friends, for bestowing on us the great honor of your endorsement. With your endorsement comes great responsibility and high standards to uphold. I join you in setting our goals high and our standards higher, because the time has come to inject new life and new blood and new voice into our old system. We are in this race together. We will stay in till the very end, till the last vote gets counted in November. Our message is too important. Our time is now. We will not be deterred, and we will not get out of the way for anyone. To the Connecticut Hispanic Democratic Caucus, with pride and gratitude, los agradezco por su apoyo. I thank you for your support. It will be an honor to work with you and your members across the state toward our common aim, to give voice to those who have no seat at the table, to winning the nomination at the convention, to winning a primary in August if necessary, and to making history in November. Yes. Sí se puede. Adelante, and thank you.
Thank you all very much. Before we close this press conference, Gerry, I want you to understand, I'm sure you do, that behind me, there are people from New Haven, from Hartford, from Oxford, from Manchester, from New Britain, from East Hartford, from West Hartford, from Bridgeport. So we are very serious about saying to everybody in the state that we're going to energize this community, and hopefully this community will be able to support Gerry, and we will make history in November. Thank you very much.